Hi, good evening. Welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. I wanted to make a comment on something that continually comes up, and it should be dead, but it won't lie down. It's one of those. And that is the eternal question about whether Filipinas marry for money when it's an older guy, an older foreign guy. And what prompts this is a letter that I had in the comments. So it's a message, a comment. And it's addressed to me, and it says, "You're the luckiest guy. I really don't know how you did it, because for years I've been dating Filipinas, and I've never been lucky enough to find one like your Beth. Every single girl I met, from Samar to Cebu to Bohol to Mindanao to Manila, have only been interested in money, not love." So I wonder if this is a case of the chicken and the egg. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? I firmly believe that the attitude that you start off with is key to whatever happens to you, and that's my belief. It's not politically correct, because a lot of guys out there will be saying, "Hey, I've been trying for years like this man, and I can't find it. Nobody's interested in me. Nobody's interested in just love. Nobody's interested in this." And it always seems to be aimed at Filipinas, and yet the letters that I get from Filipinas are not about love. I'm sorry, they're all about love. They're not about money, and they're not interested. Now, I always put it down to whatever the source is. Where do you get it? If I came along to you and I was chatting and I was talking about a particular product, and I said, it's turned out that the quality was so poor that it really wasn't worth the money, and you say to me, how much did you pay for it? And it turns out that I paid, let's make up the figures, it's a widget again, okay, my ever popular widgets, and I bought a widget, turned out to be very poor quality. Now, we know that widgets should be very high quality, don't we? Right? So my friend says, how much did you pay for it? And it turns out that I paid $5 for mine. $5? You should have paid $55 or $155 for a decent widget. Anybody knows that. What did you expect when you paid $5? Now, I'm not making this comparison suggesting that we buy the women that we profess to love. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about, I'm trying to illustrate, is the idea that the source that you found your lady, the circumstances that you found your lady that disappointed you so badly, may be key to one thing, and that's not are ladies bad from that particular city, country, province, bar. It's about you. And one of the things that always seems to come back home to me, and that is that it's about you. Initially, it's about you. Whatever you do, it's about you. How do you go in there? What are your expectations? What are your hopes? And what are you bringing to the table? Are you coming in as a party guy? Are you coming in as a party girl? And are you then stipulating that the partner that you're looking for must be honest, must be pure intent, must be loyal, must be true? If you are, let me ask you, why do you think that you deserve that? That's a tough question, that, and I've used this example once before. A friend of mine, I was trying to get over the point of something that I've been studying in quantum physics. I'm not a scientist, by the way. I'm not one of those terribly clever intellectual types at all, because I have zero education, but I read. And what came across to me in quantum physics is that it is a vibrating universe, and that the vibrations that you send out are returned in kind. So if you go around the world with a war on your tail, people will know that. You go into a shop and you try to get served, and you've got this attitude that's just behind the eyes, is ready to say, don't mess with me because there's going to be a load of trouble. Then what do you expect? People are going to sense these things, and they're going to respond in kind. Now, when I've seen advice on some of the expat sites that I've seen one or two people that have had the following advice. As far as Filipinas go, tell them nothing. Don't tell them where you live. Don't tell them how much money you've got. Don't tell them anything. In other words, lie. Wow, we've really set the stage for a wonderful relationship, haven't we? Here you are, you with your high and mighty look of, I'm not going to tell them anything about what I have. Now, let's see what she's got. How can it work? And it's not about any one particular nationality. It's not about Filipinas. It's not about Aussie women. It's not about American women. It's not just about British women or German women or any. It's about an attitude that exists within the human psyche. Now, I've recommended this book many times, and perhaps some of you will benefit from going out and buying it, especially if you're in the West. You'll be able to go into a bookstore, and if they haven't got it, they'll get it for you in a few days. Or you can just go down to that incredibly well-equipped, well-stocked library that is probably a mile away from where you live, and you'll be able to go in and you'll be able to ask for a book called Are You the One for Me? And the author is a woman named Barbara DeAngelis. Barbara DeAngelis was she's obviously an author. She has studied human behavior. Well, I'm not quite sure what her qualifications are, but she has written the book on the basis of interviewing and helping, counseling hundreds and hundreds of people, not just men, women. Now, she says, as an example of how we are looking in the wrong way, in the wrong direction, about a seminar that she had, and she described to an audience of women, this was American women, to an audience of American women, and I'm not picking out American women to choose to prove anything about American women, all right? But it was in America, which is pertinent to what we're talking about. And she's on stage and she's talking to this large audience of American women. And she says, who would you choose? Here's two men I'm going to describe to you. Tell me who you would choose. The first man is a modest man, a loving man, a loyal man, and someone who is truthful, of good character, and seeking a loving relationship which he will devote himself to and treat you like a princess. That's man 1. Man 2 is extremely hardworking, extremely dedicated to his job. He is a professional to the core. But he's selfish, self-centered, and puts his job before anything, before family, friends, anything. Who would you choose? The first one! The first one! We love the first one! And then she describes the circumstances of the first one. The first one has a middle-skilled job, drives a 5-year or 6-year-old Volkswagen, is buying a house on a mortgage, sometimes has to struggle, sometimes has to work a little harder. But the second man is rich, has a large company, is extremely wealthy, has all the toys, large house, and with no worries whatever. Who are you going to choose? The second man. They all, maybe not all, but they changed. They changed loyalties straight away. Now, the ones that did change are the ones that are blamed on every one of the bad women of every nation. How all they're interested in is the money. What kind of life will they have? They will have a life where they are mainly put second, they're ignored, they are not placed on a pedestal, they're not loved and adored like they would like to be. And they will spend probably their life as, let's face it, if he's a very wealthy man, he'll be looking for a trophy wife who is extremely beautiful, stylish, and will meet certain requirements that he will have. Now, will he be faithful? Probably not. If he's very, very wealthy, he can just go like this to a woman, and he will find a like-minded woman who will give him all the love, the true love that money can buy. The good man is driving his 5-year-old Volkswagen, has a modest house, a good job that he spends enough time on to be able to support his life. They were not interested in that, or a large number of them were not interested. And they changed. They loved the idea of all of those qualities, but when it came to sacrificing them for money, they were willing to do it. Now, another man, a friend of mine, who is a very good example, I was having a conversation with him, and we were talking about the idea of how the vibration that you put out, what you put out, the intention, the prayer, the wish, the desire that you put out is what you get back. And you get back exactly what you put out. Now, is that what you say, or is it what you feel in your heart of hearts? Well, whether you like it or not, you will send out the words, but the heart will send out your true intention, your true feeling of what you think you deserve. Now, you can say all day long what you deserve, as my friend did. I asked him as a point, what do you think that you deserve? What do you deserve in life? And he said, well, I'm a good carpenter. I deserve to have good work, to be respected for my good work, to live in a modest but good house, to enjoy driving a new or newish truck in my work instead of the clapped out one that I can only afford right now. And that's what I think. I deserve that. And perhaps a little brutally, I said, "Can I tell you what you really believe you deserve?" "Sure, go ahead," thinking that there was some great psychic revelation coming, but there wasn't. All I did was I described what he had. And what he had was a clapped out truck, people hiring him for less than he was worth. He was living on a building site for free. When I say a building site, it was a house that he was working on at the whim of the owner, and she allowed him to stay there. But it was actually a building site, because he was restoring, renovating, remodeling the house as he lived in it. So it didn't have a kitchen. It had a very, very basic bathroom, and so on. Now, when I told him that, and I said, "Well, what you really deserve is to live on a building site, drive a piece of crap, not have people respect the work that you do, and be struggling to pay your gas bill." And he said, "Well, thanks very much." Now, in order to get him to understand the point, I had to describe myself. And at that time, I was a single parent. I was living in an apartment which I struggled, was nice, but I struggled to pay the rent on. And I think actually that I didn't even have a car at that time. I was walking everywhere or going on a bike. And I said, "Now, I believe that I should be able to pay the rent easily, should be able to afford a car, not worry about bills, raise my son in comfort, have a good job that I am well respected at. That's what I think I deserve, but what I deserve is what I've got." So, if you really want to know what you deserve, then look at what you've got. It's as simple as that. What you have put out to the universe, to God, to the Lord, your request for what you deserve is what you've got. You've been given that. That's what you've been given. How do you know that that's what you deserve? It's what you've got. It's what you've succeeded in imagining, in praying, in asking, in requesting, in begging for, and succeeded in getting. And that's a very, very hard pill to swallow. So how do you change that? You have to change it within. Because if part of your requests are to find a partner who will love you and respect you, you cannot fool yourself. Talked about Pinocchio and his conscience, who was Jiminy Cricket. Jiminy Cricket was watching Pinocchio all the time, and he was telling him, "You're a bad boy, you're going to get in trouble for this." Pinocchio couldn't fool Jiminy Cricket because Jiminy Cricket was on his shoulder looking at everything he did. Now, your conscience, call it whatever you want to, your conscience. Remember those Hollywood days when they would have, on the right hand side, they'd have a good angel, and on the other side they'd have the devil, and the devil would be getting him to do all kinds of fun things that were just great to do. And somehow Hollywood managed to make the angel one that didn't have any fun. No, you should do the right thing. Whereas the devil said, "To hell with that, you're only here once, let's get out there and party." So, you can't fool yourself. So, you can't say, "I deserve someone to love me," if in your heart of hearts you don't feel that that's what you deserve. And that's a very, very hard pill to swallow. I've said this on many occasions, and I don't say it from a position of altitude. I don't say it from any lofty, I'm here and it's easy for me now. I'm not saying that. Beth and I have to work hard at our marriage. We work hard at it. We have to go through days when we struggle to forgive each other just for being the imperfect being that we both are. And we work at it, and we have vowed that we will keep the vows that we made and honour them, whatever happens. And whatever happens, that would certainly be the case for me. And I believe that it will be the same for Beth. And I think I've got a marriage that I would not walk away from. It's not perfect, and I'm working at it on a daily basis. I work at trying to give Beth the husband that she deserves, and I feel confident that she tries to do the same by giving me the wife that I deserve. We work hard at it. We've suffered through some very difficult times together. We've been without money. We've now reached a point where we've found a mutually acceptable, a mutually desirable mission together. And we are suffering through the difficult times in order to achieve that. It didn't come easy. Nobody gave us anything except what we worked hard to deserve. Now, we've got terrific supporters who have, of course, given us some great help, some great... Little Bit Rich gave us 2 great vacations. And he gave us those because, I guess, he agreed with something that we're sending out there in terms of that we felt that we deserved that. How did we get to the point where we could feel that we deserved it? By being honest, truthful, loyal. That's how we did it. Now, we can't fool ourselves. So, the man that has said, you were lucky. No, I wasn't lucky. I worked at it. When Beth and I met on nothing more than having talked all through one night, just like Joe said, he said he met Baby and they just talked the whole night. Beth and I, when we met, I was leaving the next day. There had been an earthquake that day. There were aftershocks throughout the night, every 5 or 10 minutes. We were in and out onto the street, from the reception of the hotel to the street and back again, because the hotel had a warning system which could detect tremors and get everybody out. Everybody poured out, and we were out there, then we came back, and then we were out there and on. But in among all of that, we talked. Now, on nothing more than that, I said to Beth, I think that we should agree that we will not see anybody else until I get back to Cebu to live. Now, we didn't know how long that was going to take. We were thinking optimistically that it might be a month or 2. But here we are, 2 virtual strangers, just having talked through the night. And we promised fidelity, just on that basis. Now, I could have walked away and never come back. And Beth could have walked away and forgotten all about me. I was too old for her. She was too young for me. Something kept us together. And the rest you know. Here I am talking to you now, and she's behind me doing something or other, doing on our channel. So if you're not getting the partner that you want, you have to look within for the answers, not without. The man said that he had been everywhere, didn't he? He said he'd been to Leyte, to Cebu, to Mindanao, looking for the one that was worthy of him. What I would put to him is this: maybe you were not worthy of the one that you that you wanted. The one that was out there, that would have been ideal for you, that is out there right now, that would be ideal for you, would be the one for you, is waiting for you to feel that you are worthy of her. A difficult one to do, and one, as I said, is not something that I say easily, because I struggle on a daily basis to be the person that's good enough for my wife. Now, what I've said doesn't apply just to this man. It applies to anybody that's out there that is struggling to find the one that is worthy of them. And my suggestion is, take it for what it is to make yourself worthy of this wonderful partner that you have in your mind, who will love you for the rest of your life. Maybe you need to do the changes rather than look for someone who is worthy of you. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. I hope that what I've said makes some sense and helps. And bye for now.